The Polk County Sheriff's Office with Sheriff Grady Judd, he's known to be tough on crime, especially those that tend to target children. Now his office is under scrutiny after mishandling a case. Now Sheriff Grady Judd has a big following on several different social media platforms, including TikTok, where he has over 700,000 followers. It is stated that the Polk County Sheriff's Office had failed to respond to an allegation that 21-year-old Taylor Cadle had made when she went to authorities for help. So let's dive into today's story as we try to figure out what happened in this case. And a fair warning, let's go ahead and mark this as a trigger warning, as well as viewer discretion is advised. Taylor Cadle lived in foster care for over a year and a half after she stopped living with her mother at the age of 7. Now, her great uncle Henry Cadle and his wife would go ahead and adopt her. Now, everything was fine until Taylor had turned 12 and when things started getting weird. Taylor would state that there were times that her adoptive father would go into her room in the middle of the night and do some unthinkable things to her. Now, Taylor would do the right thing and go to authorities and report the crime that was happening to her. Taylor would go to the Polk County Sheriff's Office and talk to detectives about what her uncle was doing. After talking to detectives, it would come to find out that the detective didn't believe anything that she was saying, and that he stated that she was making everything up. So instead of arresting her uncle, they would go ahead and arrest Taylor for lying to authorities. So at the time period that all this was happening, Taylor was only 13 years old. So being scared and unsure of what to do, Taylor would listen to the advice of her adoptive mother, in which she had told her to just plead guilty and get this all over with. Taylor would go ahead and plead guilty for filing a false police report, in which she was sentenced to probation. Here's the thing with Taylor's case, she's not the only person that this happened to. There have been hundreds of women who have reported being SA by different people, but were later arrested for filing a false police report. It has become more common that Netflix came out with a documentary called Victim Suspect, in which the documentary series followed a group of women that had reported being SA but then was arrested. There are people that have lied about being SA'd, among other crimes, but it come to find out that based on criminal justice experts, that only 2 to 8% of all SA reports are false. Now, 2 to 8% is a very low percentage of how many people make false reports. It is common for both male and female officers to overestimate the amount of false reports there are, even if they are assigned to a special victims unit. In a 2010 study for the National Institute of Justice, they analyzed interviews with 49 detectives from different special victims units, in which they have found out that officers with limited or moderate levels of experience had estimated between 40 and 80% of all reports of SA were false. And in a 2018 study, they have found that majority of officers still believe in the SA myth. The myth can range from it being consensual to later regretting their actions, all the way up to a woman being scorned for being rejected. Now, in 80% of these cases, the victim knows the offender, in which police will use that to their advantage by saying that if you know the person, there's no way they could have done this to you. And that's what happened to Taylor. So in order to prove exactly what her adoptive father was doing to her, she had to gather her own evidence. So what she ended up doing was she had recorded everything that her adoptive father was doing to her. And in 2017, she would take that proof to the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Just imagine how much trauma you will have having to gather your own evidence of you being assaulted by your adoptive father, just to have police believe you. In 2019, Henry Cadle was sentenced to 17 years for inappropriate battery of a minor, and Taylor's charges were overturned. Now, Taylor hopes that her story not just helps children and other victims of SA, but also encourages law enforcement agencies to create better tactics on how to handle victims. So what do you think? Do you feel that the Sheriff's Office had mishandled this case? And do you feel that officers need better training on how to handle situations like this so they can stop believing in the myths? Go ahead and place your comment down below. And if you like more forensic analysis of cases like this, go ahead and stay tuned for more videos to come. And if you're new, go ahead and check out my other videos that you may like. And with that, be safe.